Hello and welcome to Lunchtime Politics, reaching you live from our global headquarters here in the nation's commercial nerve center, Lagos. I'm Jeffrey Uzoma, bringing you up to speed with the big happenings in our polity and in politics at midday. Let's get started with the headlines. President Bola Tinubu makes a case for Africa, says the continent deserves 2 seats at the United Nations Security Council. Rerun elections holds today in 5 polling units in Kauranamoda South State Constituency of Zamfara State following an inconclusive exercise. PDP, APC trade words while INEC presents certificates of return to Saturday's National Assembly by-election victors. And after 4 failed attempts to conduct a rerun for the Enugu South 1 State Constituency, INEC finally declares LP candidate Emeka Ngene winner of the polls. The PDP candidate kicks. Thanks again for joining us on the program where we help you make sense of what's playing out in our polity and politics. Let's begin with what's happening outside the country. In Yokohama, Japan, where President Tinubu is there at TICAD, is saying that Africa deserves 2 permanent seats on the United Nations Security Council. And that's the president speaking. He said he made the appeal at the ongoing Tokyo International Conference for African Development, TICAD 9, called on the Japanese government to support the campaign for reforms in the United Nations organs to give African countries a greater voice. The president, who arrived in Japan earlier in the week, is using the summit to push his renewed hope agenda to position Nigeria as a gateway to West Africa's $400 million strong consumer market. Apart from a permanent seat, the president is also calling for additional seats in non-permanent seat category of the Security Council. The Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiga emphasized the importance of mutual understanding, local solutions, and collaborative efforts for Africa's development. The leadership of the People's Democratic Party is accusing the ruling All Progressives Congress of plotting to use security operatives to disrupt the rerun of by-elections in Zamfara States. That's today. The National Publicity Secretary of the party, Mr. Debo Ologunagba, made the allegation at a news conference in Abuja. Meanwhile, Zamfara State chapter of the APC has dismissed the allegations, describing them as a desperate attempt by the PDP to cover up what it termed a looming defeat.
The APC, in an operation which allegedly have the involvement of a minister from the Zamfara state, is currently deploying, and this is important, they're currently, as we speak, deploying full battalions of the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Mobile Police Force, and the Directorate of State Services, DSS, from Abuja. They're actually deploying from Abuja and other parts of the country to just 5 polling units. 5 polling units, and you have those armaments going to war, as it were. The aim of this nefarious deployment is to force a siege mentality on the people of the constituency, intimidate, terrorize, and prevent them from coming out to exercise their constitutionally guaranteed rights to vote. Our party invites Nigerians and the international community to note that the APC's resort to setback intimidation and force in election is a clear signal of the creeping totalitarianism and one-party state, which the APC has stated as its cardinal goal in our country. The PDP and, of course, the people of Zamfara State will not accept any result that is at variance with the express will of the people as evidenced by the already collated results from Enugu South 6 constituency.
If an election is being collected and the result is being declared, the only channels of sending or telling your grievances is through the tribunal. So if we have any grievances, if the election is being declared, we are going to challenge it. But if we don't have nothing, we are going to do with it. Because the Constitution is clear. The Electoral Act is clear. Result null and void. Maybe he don't know the literal meaning. That is why I say the result is not null and void. The result is good and is being declared as according to the law of the land and according to the Electoral Act. Because any returning officer is being empowered by the section of the Electoral Act to declare a result. If not, why will he declare the result inconclusive? So we are ready to go. And all the noise they are making it because they have already developed a fear of defeat, and we have already defeated them. The 5 fallen units, we are going to participate, we are going to partake, and by the grace of God, we are going to defeat them again. We are not happy. We learned what happened, and we have already made our position known because we learned they were being bribed with the money to declare the result inconclusive. Something very annoying, something very disturbing. Since when we were in the collating center at Kaswandaji, their agents in the collection center were informing us that the result is going to be declared inconclusive. How will they know?
Okay, so that's as far as that election is concerned. It's high stakes. That's why we call it high stakes. It's happening today, according to INEC, in Karanamoda local government area. About 5 polling units are up for this high stakes election, and the PDP and the APC are trading words as to what will happen. But there's another controversy that has trailed Rerun election. This one is even worse in terms of what has played out so far, because this election took place in 2023 when all the elections had happened. And so let me give you a background to what we're doing. By the way, let's also tell you that INEC will be presenting certificates of return to National Assembly. The people who won the National Assembly election, that's the House of Reps and the Senate, today at the INEC headquarters. I think that should be about 3 p.m. or so. And then tomorrow will be State Assembly. But there were other elections that were meant to hold across the country as well. Now, something is brewing in Enugu State. That's the Enugu South 1 state constituency, that election. So let me give you a rundown. So in March 2023, when the elections held, Mr. Emeka Ngene of the Labour Party was declared the winner with 5,862 votes, ahead of Sam Ngene of the PDP with 2,098 votes. Now, the Labour Party winner, the winner of the election from the Labour Party, apparently from this calculation, was leading with over 3,000 votes. The PDP candidate challenged the outcome, arguing that the number of council, that's disenfranchised vote, exceeded the Labour Party's candidate's margin. We understand that the places that were disenfranchised, maybe due to violence and all of that, were about 4,000. So if you look at it technically, if elections hold, it could upset the entire outcome of the exercise. Well, the tribunal concurred and ordered rerun in 90 days. The rerun covers a single political ward, that's one area with 8 polling units, approximately 4,600 eligible voters. The rerun has been scheduled 4 times. Now, INEC has declared a winner based on what INEC is saying. So there's another twist to this conversation. So let me bring in my guest and then I'll follow up. So there's a twist to this. The winner of that election, as declared by INEC, is already serving a 7-year jail term as we speak. Now, he had won the election, he had participated, nominated, validly, being part of the election, and then the incident that had to do with him being sentenced to jail happened. Let me bring in my guest. Mr. Agbo Uchenna is the Enugu State Labour Party chairman. He joins us virtually. Sam Ngene is the PDP Assembly candidate for that constituency as well. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on the program. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
So, Let me start with you,
Thank you, my brother.
Mr. Ngene. Let me start with you. This is how INEC summarized all of the elections that took place last Saturday. When it came to the rerun in Enugu and other rerun, INEC, I'm reading word for word what INEC said. 2 rerun elections by order of the Election Petition Appeal Tribunals were held in Enugu and Kano states. After previous disruption of the election in the 2 states by violence and thuggery, the election have now been concluded. Declaration and return were made by the returning officers. For Enugu South 1 state constituency of Enugu State, Ngene Bright, a maker of the Labour Party, was declared winner. Let me come to you, Mr. Coincidentally, both of you by Ngene. So Sam, Mr. Sam, what do you make of this?
Thank you. Well, first of all, I want to thank Channels Television for this opportunity. It has always been the other way around, but this has shown that Channels Television is a professional media outfit. The truth about the matter is that, just like you have stated, the election was held in March 2023. And after we went to tribunal, I went to tribunal. And the tribunal looked at the merit of the matter and decided that there should be a rerun, because where we have that problem was at my base, my own ward, where I have my strongest of hold. And it happened that way. The many times that election was rescheduled, there's always a disruption. The first time was the senator who came from Kano West local government and made sure that election didn't hold. The second time, he came as well and made sure that election didn't hold. This time around, even when we got the information that they are coming to disrupt the election and we raised the alarm, he still came, but in a different way this time. You now see the minister who is of the APC, who has no business with that election, because I say they don't have business because when I went to the tribunal, I've always known and I've heard the lawyers and court say that they are not Father Christmas. They don't give what you didn't ask for. So it's not as if they joined in that matter. Everybody kept to his own until the court decided, the tribunal decided that there should be rerun election. And then other parties came up that they are part of the rerun election. And I begin to wonder, is the court still Father Christmas? So the bottom line is that this election would have ended at this point, at this time, of the one of last Saturday, which was the 16th. But the minister came, and disrupted the election with hoodlums, and a lot of policemen with arms. I've never seen a situation where during an election, policemen come to the polling unit or polling booth or polling centers with arms. A lot of people that even wanted to vote had to flee. These women, the way they react to issues. So that's all about that. And then election didn't hold. That same election didn't hold. And then before you knew it, the INEC National Commissioner also agreed to the fact that that election didn't hold. But by Tuesday evening, already we have gotten an information that INEC wants to declare the result of the previous election of 2023. And I began to wonder, on the 17th of December 2024, after the Labour Party candidate was sentenced to 7 years imprisonment in I think it was in May or June, or that 2024. On the 17th of December, my lawyer wrote to INEC and demanded that I be declared winner, that there's no reason for leaving that constituency, that the man in question is now in prison. Not that he was in detention, he was sentenced and he was convicted and sentenced. Okay? They wrote and they returned, they wrote me back through my lawyer, telling me that they cannot use that same result, that court has nullified it, and that I should wait for a rerun. And I waited. So what baffles me now is going back to use that same result to declare Bright winner. Meanwhile, when I wrote that letter in December 17th, they responded on 25th of February, 2025. And that letter was accompanied with a CTC of the judgment that took him to jail. Then, before this election, on Wednesday, before Saturday, my lawyers wrote, one, Barrister Onyekuluje and Barrister Okeoku,
Just a
informing
moment.
INEC.
My apologies. I will have to interject because of time. It's a 30-minute program. So let me bring in the Labour Party chairman to also give his input as well. So as it is, Ms. Angena has explained his position. I'm sure you were listening to him as far as this issue is concerned. If you listen to INEC will say the man in question was validly nominated and everything was okay, that whatever happened, that happened after he's been elected, and that nobody can give you a certificate of return in proxy in that sense. And there's a way, if a vacant seat, if there has to be a vacant seat, it has to be declared. There are so many, legal issues around this. But let me allow you to speak. I've allowed Ms. Angene to speak. So you have the floor now to respond to some of the things he said. And as far as this issue is concerned, what options are left for the Labour Party? Sir, you have the floor, the Labour Party chairman. Mr. Ochenna, that's for you. Mr. Ochenna, if you can hear me, Mr. Ochenna? Oh dear. I hope we can get the input of Mr. Ochenna because I needed to have both sides to the conversation. Mr. Ochenna, I can see you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but I'm not hearing you very well.
Okay, whatever it is you can hear, just your reaction to some of the things that Mr. Angena said.
I hear you. It's not well connected. I think it's network problem.
But if now that you have heard me, I want you to react to some of the things that have been said and what Labour Party wants to do from this situation.
Okay, but are you hearing me?
Very loud and clear. Okay, let's continue with Ms. Angene. Ms. Angene, let's come back to you. Please land on your thoughts, and then I throw in my next question. I wanted his input because it's a panel conversation.
Okay.
I just trying to be fast so I can take one question.
Yes. It happened that in sometime on Wednesday before the Saturday for the election, my lawyers wrote them indicating that this guy is now serving a prison term, that is no longer qualified to stand for this election. And the party also wrote, my party PDP also wrote, attaching the CTC of the judgment. Remember that in 2024, we have written before and attached the CTC of that judgment. So INEC cannot claim that they don't know, that they are not aware of the fact that the guy is having a prison term, and they still placed him on the ballot. And it baffles me that...
Ms. Angene, let's be clear. Let's be clear on a few things so that we guide our audience properly. So let's look at a few things. So he was validly nominated, cleared by INEC, participated in that election like you. This is not a fresh election, so that for context. So there's a way the law looks at things different from the way you and I look at things. This is not a fresh election. It's a rerun election. So as far as the law is concerned, it's still on the ballot. Technically, that's perhaps why INEC decided it's still on the ballot. So how does your lawyer react to that?
Well, the Constitution is very clear about this. If someone is nominated properly assuming he was even in the House of Assembly and he commits an offense, a criminal offense that sends him to prison, does it mean that he will not vacate the seat? Does it now mean that one will say that he was clearly nominated and that he was clearly nominated? No. For the fact that even when he was clearly nominated for the election, and eventually somewhere along the line he had the problem with his community that took him to the correctional center, is enough. It's a straightforward thing. It's a straightforward thing. I don't think the guy is supposed to be on the ballot, but however, let's keep trying we'll have to take it to court and hear them out, and then know what they have to say about it, because.
So for you now, let's understand your argument, because all of this argument is not about INEC. It's the court that will make sense of the situation. INEC will stay where they stay. So for you now, you want certificate of return because you came second in the election, or you want certificate of return because you came second in the election and now that whatever has happened to him has happened to him, or you want the election to be properly conducted. So let me even ask, if the election was properly conducted, do you think you can pull off a number that can upset this number?
Why not? Why was the election disrupted in the first place? Remember, that is my word. That's my stronghold. Even with the wave at that time, I would have still survived that election, because it was because they knew. That was why they sent people to come and disperse the voters with guns and all sorts of violence. So,
Mr. Angene, so let's be clear. Who are you saying brought in, invaded the place? Is it Labour Party or another party? What are you talking about?
The Labour Party. The Labour Party.
Who in the Labour Party are you trying to accuse or alleging against here? Who are the
I wouldn't know who. I wouldn't know who.
Because
who I wouldn't. Yes. I wouldn't be able to say is a particular person, but for the fact that I was actually pulling very well on that day. I was coasting to victory.
No, the numbers don't show that you were coasting to victory. 5,800 as against your 2,000, just slightly over 2,000. The gap is 3,764. So I want the audience to understand. Beautiful. Yeah, so that gap is wide.
But
in an election, no, I'm not debating. I'm just putting facts. I'm not. Of course, you have the optimism as a politician, but let's bring in Mr. Uchenna, who hasn't said anything. We hope and network wala. Mr. Uchenna, can you hear me now, sir?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
I don't know whether you heard anything we've been talking about.
I am hearing you.
Yes, I've been on just trying to get sense of the situation with Mr. Angene. What's your response to all that has played out because of time?
Thank you so much. I think Chief Sam Ngene is being economical with the truth. He knows what's transpired there, and he has to come clean before the whole world, before Enugu State. Chief Sam Ngene is a very respectable person in Enugu South local government, in Enugu State. We respect him so much. He is our son. He has contributed so much in democratic process in the state, right from local government down to state level. But at this point in time, Sam should come clean, very, very clean. When I mean clean, what transpired in Enugu State or Enugu South Urban State Constituency is unexplainable. Labour Party cannot disrupt an election they have won or they're about to win, and they will continue to win. And he's aware. They have been in power for 26 years now, PDP, and we're still growing in poverty. So the people spoke. By 2023, the people spoke, both in urban and rural constituency of Enugu South. Labour Party won those constituencies. Labour Party won 14 out of 24 state constituencies. He's aware. That was the first time that another party since 1999 is winning in Enugu State with a landslide. Unfortunately, what has happened because he is aware, he knows why it happened, why Bright Ngene is in detention and is in prison. They did everything for Bright to defect to PDP, the state government. Bright refused. Bright said, no, I will not defect. And what they did was to go and exhume a case in his community that has been there for more than 6 years. And that case, the magistrates that gave that judgment, Magistrate I'm a lawyer, we know ourselves. In fact, he abandoned procedural legal process, legal procedure in courts. And on the day that the lawyers came and told him, we have written to NJC, wait until that matter is reacted upon, and you have to recuse yourself from this matter. He refused to recuse himself from the matter. On the day he said there will be address by parties, final address by parties, he now said there will be a judgment. I have never seen as a lawyer, I have been a lawyer for the past 25 years, I have never seen in law where a judge or a magistrate gives judgment without taking final addresses from lawyers, and hurriedly sentenced this young man to 7 years imprisonment. Up to today, they're still on young man to defect. They're still on him to drop that mandate. And he refused.
All right.
And some said the first time the Labour Party came with gun.
Ms. Ochena, totally out of time. It means it's an ongoing conversation, apparently. We hope we can have another time to explain these issues. I don't know.
Labour Party.
Mr. Sam, I wish I can get your take, but he's clearly said, and with those nuances have been all over the place, that the PDP is doing all it can to frustrate this young man. But you have said that is not the case. And you've talked about how you want to go about this. But eventually, it may be the court that will make a final determination. But I must thank you both.
Exactly.
Agbo Uchenna, Enugu LP Chairman, Sam Gene, PDP as State Assembly candidate. Thank you for coming on the program. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
That's it on the program. Thank you for your time and company. I'm Jeffrey Uzongo. You've been served on Lunchtime Politics. Bye-bye.